Did you know that 70% of FDA-approved anti-cancer drugs are based on mechanisms that plants use to fight cancer? That's right. For centuries, Ayurveda and Chinese medicine have used plants to fight cancer, and they've been shown effective. If that's so, and the FDA even recognizes that and steals mechanisms from plants in cancer care, why don't we use more plants in mainstream cancer care? Well, the studies, it's even quoted in the literature, it says because pharmaceutical companies cannot patent a natural product and own the intellectual property, the priority in researching those mechanisms is low because they can't benefit financially from it. Today I want to show you how even if the pharmaceutical companies won't invest a lot of money in it to study it and use it, I want to show you how using natural plant products can augment your chemotherapy or radiation and actually prevent chemo resistance and improve cancer killing and cancer survival. I'm Dr. John Bartemus, and I'm putting the pieces together to help you live a life at Optimal. Cancer kills 8.2 million people every year worldwide. One of the reasons is we don't have a great treatment to fight it once it's established. Now, 5 to 10% of cancers through the research have been shown to be genetic. So 90 to 95% of cancers are lifestyle induced. This means that you absolutely control your risk of cancer based on your choices as regards nutrition, sleep, stress, physical activity, toxin exposure, etc. How do those things induce cancer? Well, let's draw it out for you. We have right here normal cells. So these are normal cells, and over time, tumor cells develop. Research states that cancer cells usually develop in our 20s, but the tumor is not found until we're in our 50s. That means there's a 20 to 30 year incubation period for that tumor or for that cancer growth. That means there's a lot of opportunity to choose the right actions or the wrong actions to either kill the cancer before it's found or promote its growth to be found later. So we start with normal cells that then become tumor cells. Tumor cells over time accumulate and become a tumor growth, and then as you go, the tumor growth can become metastatic or metastasize to other sites from the original site. So say it originated in your bone and then spreads to your lungs and other sites, that's metastasis. So when normal cells turn into tumor cells, that's called transformation stage, and this is happening maybe somewhere in our 20s, the research says. From tumor cells to tumor growth, that's proliferation, or the spreading of the cells. So this is happening from our 20s to 50s, and then somewhere in the 50s, we're finding a tumor. The tumor's discovered, and then from then on, there's invasion, or where the tumor is not just an isolated tumor in an organ, say in your bladder, but now it invades and metastasizes and goes from the bladder to the lungs to the bone to the brain to other sites. And that's when it gets really ugly. So this process, they're saying, takes 20 to 30 years on average. Now, if and when the tumor is discovered, typically the treatment is chemotherapy and or radiation. And the current chemotherapy targets NF-kappa B, or uses NF-kappa B, which is a molecular pathway to kill the cancer. The problem with promoting NF-kappa B is that NF-kappa B can promote cancer survival. So the same drugs that we're trying to use to kill the cancer promote cancer survival, or chemo resistance as it's called. So the tumor becomes resistant to the treatment that you're using to try and kill it. Well, what research has shown for decades is that there are natural plant products that target the tumor in multiple ways, not just a mono-target or one pathway called NF-kappa B, but natural products are multi-targets. They target NF-kappa B, which is a transcription factor. They target enzymes. They target growth factors. They target all kinds of things. So the research shows that if you were to pair the chemotherapy with a natural product, the natural product decreases the chemoresistance of the tumor and increases the killing of the tumor via chemotherapy. So pairing the natural product with the chemo and or radiation makes the chemo and radiation better, makes the killing more thorough, and improves survival rates or improves probability of survival rates. What is one of the best natural products to do this, a chemosensitizing agent? Curcumin. Curcumin is part of curry spice. So curcumin functions on multiple levels in the tumor growth pathway. Curcumin will block the transformation of normal cells into tumor cells. Curcumin will block proliferation of tumor cells to a tumor growth, and curcumin will block invasion or metastasis of that tumor. So curcumin is a big time natural product to include in your food and your cooking as a spice, and studies have shown in India the people who use more turmeric curcumin spice have far less cancers in every way. Other studies have shown that curcumin is specifically inhibitory to all kinds of cancers, oral cancers, urogenital cancers like bladder, kidney, lung cancers, bone cancers, brain cancers, GI cancers. It's been effective in all of it. So this is something to add not only as a food and a spice, but also in supplemental form. Now, as we discussed earlier, chemo and radiation targets the tumor via targeting NF-kappa B. The way that it kills the tumor is by producing reactive oxygen intermediates or free radicals. And here's where it gets hairy. The free radicals do kill the cancer, so that's one positive, but they also promote cancer survival by activating the NF-kappa B pathway in the tumor cells. So if we were to take chemo and radiation and add a chemosensitizing agent like curcumin, what happens is the curcumin blocks the promotion of the cell survival and blocks the NF-kappa B pathway specifically. And then curcumin promotes the cancer killing. So curcumin is going to be a 2-for-1. It's going to promote the death of the cancer and block survival of the cancer, thereby further promoting death of the cancer. So in cancer treatment or cancer prevention or health in general, curcumin has been shown repeatedly for decades in the research to be a chemosensitizing agent, a chemopreventive agent or a tumor preventive agent, and a massive anti-inflammatory in general. So if you fear cancer, have a family history of cancer, adding curcumin to your lifestyle would be a great way to prophylactically or preemptively seek to prevent cancer. And anywhere you are on this process, maybe stop it and or reverse it for you. If you now are dealing with cancer and getting ready or in chemo or radiation therapy, discussing with your oncologist this information and having them look up the research on natural chemosensitizing agents such as curcumin. There are other ones like resveratrol, berberine. There's a bunch of them. Have them look up that research and discuss with them whether you can pair these things with your chemo or radiation and achieve your goal of killing the cancer and surviving at a much higher efficacy. There's nothing negative about the natural products. They're cheap, they're safe, and they're effective. The only negative is that Big Pharma can't patent them. So there should be no reason that they can't be part of your care as an adjunct or support to the mainstream therapy. So at least have the conversations, be empowered and aware of this information, and do all that you can to promote your survival.